can really ruin it, but instead electing to convert TF's lane priority into something meaningful. The control that's going to be present down in the bot lane with Sivir and Yuumi as well, and they're going to try to basically play for soul. So, another spin on sin here for DRX.
Wow. Season 2 of the spin drama, or the sin drama, I suppose you should say, is coming in here. As we take a look at their compositions, it almost felt like they were reaching for a ball carrier, essentially, with the Lee Sin coming in here, as Nautilus and Ornn aren't fantastic ball carriers. Ezreal's not really going to go that far forward. And we don't see Orianna all too often nowadays, but BDD is going to bring it out here up against TF. Something that obviously will be very safe in that lane. And take a look at the other side. Chovy bringing out the TF really early on, so I'm excited to see what he can do there. Wukong, Olaf, TF, and Sivir all together with Yuumi. Definitely very good at attacking the enemy, but they're going into a lot of CC, so it'll be interesting to see how that does work out as we're ready to hop onto the Rift for game number 1. And let's do it right now.
Gen.G, they load into the Rift, and they're doing it. They're all running bottom. And this is that play that we talked about again yesterday. If in, 99% of games, everyone's just going to fan out, well, there's not a whole lot of value there. And then what is the percentage that the enemy team runs to the bottom and looks to 5v5 versus what is the chance that one of the enemy AD carries or the supports venture down into bottom by themselves, isolated? And that's sort of the options that they're weighing against right now. The Airy ethereal cat? Is that what you would call it? I'm not, whatever.
Okay.
Is giving away Yuumi's location.
Yeah, actually, I know what you're talking about now. Ethereal?
Is that how it's pronounced? I mean, you're
I'm not sure. That's not a very commonly used
it's not
word.
Yeah. Americans, by the way.
Yeah. Native language, I guess. Well, we speak American, not English. Let's be real. Double Unsealed Spellbook in the mid lane. These are definitely two champions that can bring it to pretty much every game pretty easily. So not too surprising compared to other lanes, as Clid is going to be spotted here on the red buff. So they know exactly where that Lee Sin is starting. It's not too surprising that he's starting there unless he really wanted to mix it up. And we're going to have to settle into this one and see how it does go.
Nimbus Cloak and Transcendence on the Twisted Fate, as well as Stopwatch and Dematerializer. And here, big trade coming out.
It's really awkward. He's going to get ignited here too, as both heal and exhaust have to be used by Yuumi, by Keria here, just for the Ignite of Life, and they fall behind in the lane. As Life kind of just ran straight at them, and Deft and Keria didn't really show them the respect that they deserved with that Nautilus passive. So, nice little trade early on.
Ooh, nice. Little trades going on here, and if we're really looking at this game, what we have to mostly pay attention to is what Olaf ends up doing. Because you can see here Lee Song, a little bit of a weird path. We see Lee Sins, we see Jarvans and friends do this path all the time, where they wrap back around, but it just makes them less efficient than the full clearers themselves. And you can see Olaf, he has Macetti, he has Talisman, and all that DRX is going to try to do is convert the lane priority in both mid and bottom into something meaningful. And Chovy, the reason that he flashed actually is because he locked the blue card.
Yeah.
If he didn't lock blue, pretty sure he would just hold and get gold card and then stop Lee Sin and he would be fine. So 6 minutes he will have that spellbook available, so he can turn that dead flash into something, or the dead teleport.
Yeah, it's got a couple options there, but I suppose uncharacteristic mechanical mistake from Chovy. It's difficult with TF when you see that gold card pop up first. You panic and you try to press it as fast as possible, but then you end up getting blue sometimes if you're not fast enough. heard way back, I forget, this must have been like 4 years ago, that there would be like, there's like a supposed timer on the cards that if you count, if you
It's
count in your head,
111 BPM.
111 BPM,
Yeah.
that's the timer.
No, that's the psych. That's the
Yeah.
that it works on.
Jesus. So if you have that in your head, you can predict what the next card is going to be.
Valdez,
Theoretically.
please,
What?
please.
That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about the same thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're talking about TF's gold card, or
Yeah.
like his card cycle.
Yeah, his card cycle.
Yeah, from the game, second the game starts. Pretty pog.
So
As
after you pull it, how does the cycle restart?
no, it's from 000 as soon as.
So it's always cycling,
Yeah.
even when you
Yeah.
have a card pulled. And
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty difficult to keep track of. Obviously, there's no other programs that the players are allowed to use on the computers at the same time. But
Yep.
maybe if you're playing
No,
at home.
not an add-on or something that like gives you an aura or like a hue around Twisted Fate.
No, it wouldn't even have to be an add-on. You could just program a literal, like, beats, you know, a thing that makes a different sound for the different beat.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that anyone
Valdez,
should go out and do it, but, you know.
Valdez is a cheater. Not a big deal.
No, I'm not.
Well, speaking of cheaters, we
Just
did not,
theoretically, you know. Hypothetically. It's possible.
we didn't get any cheater recalls this
Yeah.
game.
No, there's no cheaters in this one.
Lost chapter on the Orianna. And so Twisted Fate actually is not in the kind of position that he would want to be in. We're all just playing ping pong with waves.
Yeah.
While Olaf continues to full clear.
You would imagine that with a Lee Sin on your team, after having gotten
No.
both summoners
No.
from the support,
Nope.
you might want to pull the lane and then
Wouldn't.
try to set up a gank.
Incorrect.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, false assessment there.
Oh.
What you're going to need to do is farm.
Lee Sin needs to farm against the Olaf so that he can, you know, fall behind and essentially be less effective when he should be looking for early plays. I mean, I suppose Lee Sin's not bad at taking singular big objectives, like a Dragon, like a Rift Herald, but you can see that Pyosik is already getting to work here, and the TP is going to come in from the Sivir. They will be taking down this initial Ocean Drake extremely quickly.
Yeah. And interesting enough, yet again, by the way, this is the second day in a row that we've seen the Ornns do this. They don't do it anymore in EU and NA, but here in Korea, they do build the Bomby Cinder very early, rather than the double, well, the double Ruby, I guess. Or did he have the double Ruby and get the Bombies and I'm just a clown? I mean, that might
Oh,
be...
here we go. BDD should have to flash away from this one. They do force the flash, but you're not going to get too much more than that after the initial stun does come in. You know, maybe if it was a jungler that had more CC and not Olaf. But that's not the way it goes here. Olaf is going to farm, and he's going to get the flash out of the Orianna and be able to run at her later on in the game.
Well, they do apply some pressure, but for the most part, everything has been going pretty smooth sailing. Chovy with the Merc Treads as his first pickup, has the Dark Seal with the Corrupting Potion as well to boot. And Olaf is continuing to farm here, as is the Lee Song. After the blue buff, he's going to get right to work on that Grom.
Hell yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
You like the Grom, right?
It's my favorite kind of jungler.
I know it is.
Lee Sin down 3 camps.
And, I mean, alright, so after Lee Sin just finished killing Lord Grompulus Kevin Ribiton of Croaksworth, he's going to now make his way over to the Rift Herald. That's Grom's actual name.
Is that his real name?
That's actually his real name, yeah. I know.
See, nobody
Please
pays
contain.
attention to the lore, so nobody knows these kind of things. But LS, lore specialist over here, he understands, guys. He gets stuff that you wouldn't even imagine belongs in this game. I mean, just incredible.
Some people might be wondering, well, what happened to Agatha and Bertha, the previous Groms? Well,
Yeah.
the Season Cup happened. They left.
Yeah, we don't talk about them anymore. They got fired after that one. We're just kind of chilling here. There's really not much going on in these games. The most action that's happened is a trade in the bottom lane at level 1. And objectives of 1 apiece going either way.
And, well, I mean, normally when you pick Twisted Fate, what you want to do is actually pull your wave so that he can Destiny Gate in behind the opponent and then maybe secure a kill. Alternatively, you can coordinate dives relative to your jungler's path. There's also currently a Raptor camp and a Gromp camp up that Olaf could be eating. And instead we're running around, Sivir, pushing the bot wave in.
Yeah. We talked about this yesterday. Always be pushing. It's not always be closing. This is kind of the motto of the LCK teams. Every single team does this.
Yeah.
Always be pushing as hard as you can. You just watch them do this over and over.
They would be very good at childbirth.
Yes.
They would.
True.
Actually, yeah.
Or lifting weights, right? You gotta push the bar off your chest, right?
That's true. I mean, that's why LCK has the, you know, the most Chad of players.
True. Yes, very true. Especially Brad. We love him. I was hoping that, you know, this is something I actually wanted to talk about. Keria on Yuumi is really not enjoyable for me. He's like pretty much the best mechanical support in my mind, and he's being put onto Yuumi now. Yuumi has the ability to... Okay, nice little trade here. Doran might get dove. The tee-up coming in, though, in the flash. Oh, they're going to try to turn this one around. They didn't want to go on to Ornn, but they are going to go on to him now with the exhaust coming out here from the TF. They might have enough. Rascal desperately trying to get in there and clap, and he will. Claps the face of the Wukong and picks up the first blood. Had to burn a splash, but so did the Wukong, so it's not bad at all for him.
And, I mean, when you consider Orianna's getting back into mid lane right now, there's no one to pick up that farm. This just means that TF's going to lose it. I'm actually surprised Olaf is not just gunning it straight to mid. And it looks like he's finally going to make his way over
He's going to try to
now.
kick him after that last one goes down. Here it is. There it is. The flash comes in, and I think Chovy might just die. He's waiting, and there it is. Nicely set up by Clid. AFK play works out in the end.
Well, he definitely put the sin in Lee Sin right there. Was Clid, and it ended up working out. So, very good play nonetheless. Gen.G now lead by 200 gold. The issue, though, is that not a whole lot is really going on elsewhere. I mean, they're going to finally summon the Rift Herald here. They're going to get BDD quite a few plates, sharing it with Lee Sin a little bit. Doran does ding level 10, so he does have an XP lead over Rascal, but Chovy is behind. He has teleport, and he went top lane with it. So it looks like we're going to experience a lane swap here.
AKA LS.
Yeah.
Just another LS. Can't get away from them here on the Rift.
And,
well,
Mountain goes the way of Gen.G. That's a nice pickup for them.
Doing it's Infernal, not Cloud Soul. Those were the two options that we do have here. So Infernal's going to be really nice for both sides even. As we'll take another look at this replay that Rascal set up essentially.
Yeah, and the flash out of the way by Doran. You have Pyosik. He's doing the golems, comes in. And at this point, Doran does not need to input those extra autos at all. He could have just ran for the hills. He never would have died.
That's it.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything else. We were waiting for the commentary from Clid. He was talking about the pre-setup. He's like, I think I got this guy. And he did in the end. So finally the Lee Sin doing something in this one.
And Pyosik may... Okay.
This is interesting.
Yeah, they cannot dive him, I believe.
BDD has TP as well.
Yeah, BDD has TP, and
this is a little bit of a blunder, I think. I mean, they're going to try to pull this off, but the turret goes down.
They can dive him with the minions, but the teleport would come in, and then Orianna.
Yeah, they think they have the damage here, and Chovy's tanking so much with the stopwatch. They finally do get him, and actually, the double kill is going to come in here for DRX. The rotation, perhaps a little bit late, as Clid is going to try to pull this off. Doran on guard duty, but he nearly gets Pyosik anyway.
Yeah, so when the minions are there, they can execute that dive. The initial one was really weird because Ornn was able to remove the entire minion wave. But on the dive where they had the minions to initially buffer the damage, means that that turret does not get to ramp up at all. Teleport coming in by Orianna very late to arrive to the party, and so BDD just donates a kill over. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Ruler finally does pick up the turret.
Watch the timing of
I mean, the TP should already be going.
Should be a second or two earlier.
He's getting no value. Just look at mid lane. They already crashed in the wave. He had nowhere to go on the right-hand side of the map. Yeah. The TP should have just been there very prematurely to dissuade that from happening, and if not, then you're there to maximize your value with Ornn.
Okay, trying to set up a kill here. He's got red buff, but the cooldown on his Q won't come up in time. He's going to push Doran out of lane. But, yeah, I think he was looking at top. He's like, oh, Rascal's probably tanky enough. If they dive, I'll go. But, as you said, I think that can't be the thought process. He has to say, I need to deny this because we got a win already. We don't need another win with the bait. As BDD, he doesn't have anything but cleanse here. He is going to use it in the end, as well as stopwatch, but he's already dead. There's no reason to use either of those things as BDD.
Yeah, I'm not
making a couple of mistakes here in this game.
I'm really not sure what he was trying to do there. Also, he's going for the Seraph's Embrace, Orianna, but there's not any hard nuke on the enemy team. So that one is also a bit surprising. And here in this game, I mean, Infernal Dragon is coming up in a minute. DRX, they've amassed themselves a 2,000 gold advantage. Olaf has Warmogs, but I don't believe he has the passive yet for it. So we'll
it's actually pretty early.
Yeah, we'll see when it ends up panning to him. What his HP is at? Maybe we'll get panned to him soon.
He was there on our screen.
He was there on our screen, but
no.
Yeah, this is very...
Jonah Strong says no.
All right, well, we take a look at this replay here. Now, BDD, I'm very surprised. He threw out the Q, pulls the ball back to himself, uses the stopwatch, uses cleanse, throws out the R, and the only reason that he's not R'ing prior to that is because Sivir. So,
yeah,
not able to really do anything. In 15 seconds now, Deft is but he really wants the Sivir.
We're looking for BDD here. End life potentially. Here comes Doran and BDD again with no summoners. But where's the damage? The Q will come in from both, and they do pick it up. The follow-up ultimate from the Wukong might just be enough as they're running in there. Here comes Olaf, the big boy, as now Clid might also bite the dust. No, he is going to get away. And Rascal, look at his TP. It's like 10 seconds away. The timing is perfect from DRX to capitalize.
Yeah, and I mean, DRX, they managed to make this happen. BDD is just having one of the most off games I've ever seen out of him in, I don't even know how long. Chovy's just going to go top lane and going to proc the bone plating and then return. Doesn't want to miss out on those minions.
Ooh.
Take it away.
No, you take it away.
Not my Chovy.
That's your Chovy right there. Pyosik coming in here.
Like.
And he's actually going to leash it for Clid and Rascal. But again, that is a TP used to pick up that first Infernal, which it will not be available for the next Infernal. So interesting decision there to try to push for that original one. As we're going to take another look here at the replay. As BDD gets caught out, so does Light, though, originally.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone's just in a really good position to make this work. And you have to ask yourself, with Rascal's teleport coming up so late, I mean, he's not going to be able to get here, right? But why is he going to top lane in the first place? That's the question. Now, we know that Ornn comes from a Forge, but you'd think he had a hot date in top lane to get to, but the minion wave was just resetting. So we can easily just go to the dragon and then let the minion wave just reset, not waste his teleport at all.
Yeah.
And then be there for the fight. Not that it probably would change anything given the positioning of life. They would still probably just end up losing the Infernal.
They'd probably lose life and then maybe save BDD, but most likely lose both of them and then lose the Infernal. So it's funny the way it works out. They actually end up getting the Infernal because he was able to TP in there with the help of Lee Sin.
Yeah.
Pick up the kill.
I am really interested to know what Twisted Fate's passive is at right now. I'm very, very curious how well Chovy's been rolling on those die. And yeah, Olaf just recently entered the Warmog threshold. Not only does he have another level, he has a Giant's Belt too.
Oh, they're going again. Gold card is going to land, but that was a nice ultimate from BDD. Finally, he's able to hold off one of the engages.
Yeah. Comes at the cost of his flash, but ultimately not the end of the world.
Yeah. Here comes Chovy again. He's really fast, and he's got a Yuumi. The Yuumi pick, you know, I'm not super happy to see Keria on it, but it's great for this comp because you have Sivir, Olaf, TF, even Wukong. Everybody on your team is going to be looking to run and chase down and dog down the enemy team, so it is a great pick to go along with their composition.
Yeah, absolutely. Ornaments are starting to come in. Rascal has them. A bit interesting as Lee Sin going for the Black Cleaver. Now, there's no tanks on the side of DRX. I mean, Olaf is just starting to get armor, but this is going to mean that even when that Black Cleaver's at full stack, it's going to be giving less pen than a lethality item on most of the targets on the side of DRX, which means that Lee Sin's initial QRQ combo with E would just deal more damage with the lethality item, and none of his teammates are really benefiting from the armor shred either. I mean, Ezreal, to an extent, but Lee Sin's single target. So Ezreal and him have to be hitting the same exact member.
Yeah, that's just it's an item that LCK players love to build, and sometimes we have to call them out when it's not necessarily the best choice. He's gonna look to ult Deft here, but it's Sivir, so I mean, yeah, pulling at straws, I suppose. Your boy Chovy picked up an item that you're very fond of.
Honestly, it's one of the most underappreciated items in all of League, just because even if it's at 0 stacks, the threat of just getting 2 kills and an assist, or it is so easy to hit that 10 stack threshold to give you such insane value. Yeah, it really is. So when you have Darksteel, you're sitting there, you're in a solo queue game or something, you have 6 stacks on it. If you're sitting at 1,000 gold, don't get a Blasting Wand, just get a Mage Eyes in more cases than not. And even in competitive, Mage Eyes is such a good item to get when there's a lot of downtime. It's going to be a lull state because it's a way to amplify things. Likewise, if you're hemorrhaging and you're losing really badly, it's also an item that you can pick up if you acknowledge that, well, the series of events that would need to happen in order for us to come back and win this game, Mage Eyes is going to pole vault it even faster. And so sometimes when you're 0-6-0 in mid lane, down 7,000 gold, and you have the gold, you just purchase Mage Eyes. You don't get a needlessly large rod or something like that.
It's not going to help you, but 10 stacks will, actually. So it's a good point. Does make sense. And I mentioned this before, Rascal's not going to have TP for this, but he's going to be here for the next Infernal Drake fight. So we're all going to be gathering up here. We should have a pretty clean 5-on-5. Let's see how this one goes down as TP used here by Doran into the bottom side. Should have been spotted, I would have imagined. We're going to wait for DRX to start this one up.
Well, here is the Infernal, and this fight is going to be do or die. Most likely for Gen.G.
Yeah, helping.
Does have the cat on him.
Chovy, a little bit of an awkward spot. Ruler going for the assassination, but Doran in the backline is doing so much. A big Ori ultimate is not going to do enough, though. He doesn't quite have the damage right now, and so the CC out of the Wukong is going to be so much more, and Ruler was not quite able to assassinate that back line of Chovy, who is, again, not, you know, he's pretty tanky, actually, with Roa and the Lich Bane, so he's going to be able to stop that damage, and DRX able to just wipe them in that fight.
Yeah, it was a really interesting decision what Ruler was trying to do there. I'm not totally sure, because like you mentioned, Chovy, he has magic resistance, he had armor as well, so a lot of Ezreal's damage is being hit. He doesn't have any pen going for him, and like you mentioned, he has that Rod of Ages, so TF is a big boy to actually try to just nuke. You can't just nuke him. I mean, take a look at this team fight.
Level 15
so,
too.
I have no idea what Rascal's waiting for on his ultimate. It was the weirdest thing in the world. He's like, well, yeah, Wukong, I mean, just come into my whole team first. Lee Sin doing Lee Sin things. And Ruler...
Oh, now I'll do it.
Yeah, it was like he realized his mistake. So unless there's a replay bug or something and he didn't have the ult, I don't know what he was trying to do, because waiting for DRX to pull the trigger is always a bad move.
No. You got to be fighting front to back. You don't want a Wukong to knock up your entire team and then have Orianna just sitting there like, oh, what do I do? I guess I'm going to throw out an ultimate and then just die immediately after, especially when you're from behind, as he's TPing to get out of this one. Should be able to. Didn't want to die, and now they're saying, well, maybe we can actually pull this into a kill onto Doran, but it doesn't look too likely. Nice knock up there from Doran. Just going to deny it. And, yeah, so he uses his TP in a really awkward spot. As here we go, dogging him down again. Clid has to flash from that one. You can see that Deft. He's like, do I flash this wall? Do I get in there? But thankfully he made the safe choice for himself, thankfully. And did not get in there. May have gotten the kill, but would have died with Baron. May have left Yuumi to die, gotten his team in a bad spot, so. They end up just getting in there, getting the flash, getting a bit of damage down.
Yeah, they have almost a 10,000 gold lead here. It's at 9K right now, but Baron's still persisting for about 1 minute.
Take a look at these levels.
Yeah.
This is insane.
BDD is 3 leveled right now in mid.
And Life is level 8. It's like he went AFK halfway through the game. He's like, oh, sorry guys, I'm back. Let me start playing again.
Well, he's trying to catch up, all right? Yuumi's only 12. Come on.
Yeah, well.
By the way.
You know. Yuumi's down 2 levels on her AD carry, and then Life was 4 levels behind her.
Yeah.
That's difficult to pull off, but I suppose he wanted to give all the solo XP to the rest of his team. And he's got his stone plates already, so he's going to do his job of engaging and then just trying to survive for as long as possible and create havoc in the team fights.
And at this point, I mean, we have Obsidian Cleaver. There's other ornaments that are starting to come in. You also have the Frozen Fist on Ezreal. Now, there's an enormous amount of HP stack on the enemy team. Enormous amount. Will we see a Leandries on Ezreal? Probably not. But it would be much better than Blade of the Ruined King in a situation like this, where Ezreal and Orianna, they have to try to wither the opponents down prior to a fight. Because if the team fight just breaks out and bursts, then you're not really going to get anything accomplished at this stage of the game. It's going to be mostly on pre-poke.
Nice.
Rapid Fire Cannon picked up by Twisted Fate to make his gold card that much scarier, given that he has the extra range now.
Chovy just looks so satisfied with himself there in the player cam. He's like, I'm in control of this game. Highest level right now, level 17. They're looking, okay, well, again, it's Sivir, but he tried for it, as now Doran is going to engage, and Rascal is left all alone. They might try to re-engage here with the gold card, but no, Rascal's out, and here we go. Everybody's rooted. Everybody's knocked up by the Wukong, and that might just be the nail in the coffin here for Gen.G. Everybody is getting routed. Ruler running for his life, as Deft is not going to give up on this one. He wants to declare himself the better AD carry in this game, but Ruler actually will get away for now. But it does not matter. The game is going to get away from Gen.G. As Ruler says, take me with you. And that should be it.
Yeah.
About 29 minutes, and DRX has game number 1.
And, I mean, that's a stomp. I mean, I don't know what is going on today here at Lol Park, but Sandbox versus Damwon, and now DRX versus Gen.G.